Welcome back, everyone. The series is tied at 1 apiece, and we are now on to game 3 in this semi-final between Alliance and SK. And honestly, Alliance have been found wanting. While they may have picked up game 1, bit shaky.
Yeah, they picked up game 1 by exploiting SK's mistakes, as opposed to winning the game through a lead. The one thing I want to go back to again, I do feel Wickd is struggling more than any other player in the series thus far. When Alliance was losing games, and they were on their 5-game losing streak in the summer split and lost a bunch of games in the spring split, in their own words, they struggled to adapt to patches. In their own words, they were too slow to figure out what works. That may be the case today. It is 4.13. Despite the fact that they've had the chance to watch the quarterfinals, they've not competed on the stage at this level on this patch.
Meanwhile, SK have, of course, put their money where their mouth is. 3-0 in Millennium, and now 1-1 with Alliance. Nidalee, Aatrox, and Cogmore taken out by Alliance. A lot of focus on Freddy. We talked about how he was bullying out Wickd, and that seems to be the cause. Maokai left open. What will the reaction be? Kassadin, Twisted Fate, and I was about to say Nyph, but it's Nami banned out. Wow. Okay, first pick is going to be Ari. That means it is up to SK whether they want to use Maokai and, of course, steal away Tristana or something different.
Yeah, of course, the Alistair's still up. There's Braum still up if they also want to try counter pick, you know, take that away from Nyph. There's a number of options available to SK. The question is, what type of comp does Alliance want to run? In the previous game, I was looking at the team fights and saying, maybe it's team fight oriented, but with all the long-range single target CC, they were like looking for a long-range pick comp more than anything, with Maokai to fall back as defense. Whereas SK's comp in the previous game was like an assassin in your face comp. 3 champions jumping in, trying to kill you after some poke has gone down. So the priority picks are off the table. Tabzz, is he going to run a hyper carry? He did Twitch in game 1, he did Corki game 2. I guess you can call Twitch maybe a hyper carry with his ultimates on, but it's not a Corki or a Tristana or a Vayne in that regard.
We'll see whether the stealth rat works for CandyPanda, whether he's able to find those targets like the Tabzz was in game 1. Shook takes away Kha'Zix from Svenskeren, of course, everything open for him. But Swain locked in, and this has to be the top lane for Wickd. We saw SOAS playing it earlier on. Of course, we saw Vizichachi, the man that first brought it out for the Unicorns of Love back last week, and it worked wonders. But of course, he got himself a double kill early on.
Yeah, Swain in the top lane. And when SOAS ran it, he didn't need the snowball to win. The way Fnatic used Swain was more for his slow from Decrepify and the root of Nevermove. And yes,
zoning people out.
Exactly, exactly. If you jump into a Swain, he's going to sustain through team fights. But it was more about the CC, it was more about the zone control and that very big threat that he gives you on the front line. So we'll see how Wicked's going to handle it. I do want to just comment on the Ari pick though, because I feel like that is a Froggen saying, if we need to win this game, I can win it by blowing someone up. I'm confident, I'm capable, you know, like, I feel like that's a player saying, give me the champion, I will make this work, I will create the opportunities that we need if we're in a desperate situation, because that is a very, very risky move. The other first picks haven't worked out.
Well, Oriana's been banned out in the first 2 games and has been picked up by Jesiz this time around. CandyPanda, meanwhile, locks in Morgana for nRated. The first time we're going to see him on it in this best of 5.
We'll see if it works out.
Ooh,
I mean,
finally.
For the Oriana, you're going to have that stealth engage. Rengar's up as well. So if SK really wanted to go for like a super sneaky stealthy pick comp, they could lock Rengar in and use the ball delivery system on multiple targets. And then again, they've got some versatility as well. You know, you've got the engage from Morgana and Maokai, or they can be used to peel or disengage. It just depends which jungler Svenskeren wants to run. You have been talking about Thresh all day long. Nyph finally gets his hands on it. And if he can do the same thing that Vander did in the previous series, might be a good way to help Alliance get those picks.
Well, final picks, as you mentioned, Tristana and Thresh locked in there. Also, Evelyn for Svenskeren. And to me, this game has 50 minutes written all over it, but not in a bad way, not in a fantastic way. These are two strong team fighting compositions.
Yeah, they can do that, and they can also find picks very well.
Yes, well, we've already seen Froggen doing that.
Exactly. You know, you've got very similar situations where supports can set stuff up, mid laners can set stuff up, junglers can get aggressive. But I think the crux of SK Gaming's team composition is going to be how the shockwave interacts with the stealth champions or the tree. When Evelyn or Maokai engage, how many champions can they hit together? How many can they group up? On the Alliance side, it's going to be much more dependent on how many can Shook or Froggen kill. They want to get some poke down, zone them away, and then let them finish it up.
Will Tabzz get fed out this time, or will CandyPanda find himself some targets? Which team do you think has come out ahead in the picks and bans, with the edge going to who? That's the question. Is it Alliance, or is it SK win? Tweet hashtag Alliance win or hashtag SK win. It's pretty simple. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. You just got to tweet it to @LO Esports. That's the key. That's the main part.
It's pretty hard, I'm not going to lie. And I think...
honestly, I think this has 5 games written all over it.
It's looking that way. It's definitely looking that way. One of the things that does play into Alliance's favor is the resets. Because they've got Tristana, because they've got Kha'Zix, once Kha'Zix has those evolved wings, the moment Froggen finds a target, if he goes like hard carry mode and blows somebody up, all of a sudden Tabzz and Shook can re-engage and keep chasing.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Game 3 underway. All square at 1 apiece. Alliance take game 1, while SK Gaming react strongly in game 2 and take it honestly dominantly. The question is, can they do the same? Interesting compositions across all lanes for me in this game. We're going to see whether we get some 2v2s, whether they try and change things up. There's not been too much shenanigans in the level 1, but right now, it seems that both teams are looking to go red.
Yeah, very deep wards. It looks like Alliance are going to do the same tri-bush move that I think they did in game 1, if memory serves, when they were blue side. Went in very, very deep, got some very good wards down, and looked for the lane setup. That was the same game where Alliance tower dove and picked up the first blood onto Freddy. Little SEC this time round. Well, not so much. If they go never move in Death Sentence, it can obviously work out. But yeah, mirror start from game 1 for both of these squads. And I do still feel Sven, his flanks and his engages will be very, very important, because if Alliance get the chance to reset, they can simply reposition, and you don't have a lot of mobility on SK's side. SK is a little bit more reliant on finding the right fight in the right location, whereas Alliance can be a little more risky thanks to their composition.
Well, Death Sentence thrown out from Nyph there, and of course that ward spotted out the whole of Alliance moving around there. So SK got the information they required, and that is why they're sticking around. They know that Alliance have moved out of the jungle, and they're going to get the red. Look at the red area though. Tabzz and Nyph, they are going to pass by. They ward out the red. Svenskeren is still waiting in this side. He's going to get spotted. He's going to run.
Yeah, he's going to be in trouble. That's actually very smart from Alliance, if they can steal a buff. We'll see how Shook decides to go for the invade. Early teleport from Freddy. Puts himself in a position to go for the 2v1. And CandyPanda is now moving himself to the top lane. So losing a little bit of CS time. You can see Tabzz and Nyph already in lane, starting to get some CS and starting to pull a little bit ahead.
So it's SK that volunteer themselves to go 2v1 in this one. That means Wickd, who is on Swain, the first time we've seen him on that, is in a risky position already. Will he get caught out with the dart bind? He's going to have to sidestep this one. nRated is going to get that down. He has to flash already. Very early flash burned out.
Yeah, very, very strong start to the lane already. And it's SK that initiated the lane swap. Freddy instantly teleported once he's seen Swain. So maybe that sort of Swain is a hard counter to Maokai has got a bit of weight to it. You can see Alliance instantly looking for the 2v2 as well. They are going to take a swing past Jesiz. Charm or Death Sentence. Can it connect? It does!
Oh, the Death Sentence does come through, and the Charm, that could have been a dead Jesiz. Good flash, and that opens up an opportunity for Shook this time to pay a visit in the mid lane.
Yeah, both sides being down a summoner spell. Who can make the best use of it? This is a double buff Svenskeren. He's going to look for Nyph and Tabzz. Dark binding from nRated. It has to connect. Let's see if they can make it. There goes Candy.
The CandyPanda could well be going to lock it in towards him. Tabzz taking also, it's a low, and it will be first blood for Candy.
Just very well played. nRated moves himself in. CandyPanda surprises the two of them thanks to ambush. And early first blood. So the lane swaps, not necessarily working out the way SK wanted it, because remember they were looking for 2v1, but they managed to make the best of the bad situation, and Svenskeren and Ganks getting the team first blood. So all credit to him.
So for the first time, Wickd managed to get the counter into this lane matchup, and it's working. Flash, Shook goes straight in towards it. Tabzz, Jesiz scored out. That's going to be him going down. Froggen gets that. Good charm. Everything worked.
Yeah, Froggen and Shook both flashing in to secure that one. Knowing Jesiz didn't have flash from the earlier charm that connected, and Froggen still got his ignite. So if Alliance are going to win this, I think Froggen's looking to put them in his backpack. He's really looking to step up his game. Freddy actually surviving pretty well. Wickd took some turret hits there that he really wasn't looking forward to.
Yeah, low mana though for Freddy. We'll see if he's able to sustain and stick around a bit longer. Svenskeren double buffed up, looking towards Nyph and Tabzz once again. Wants to see if he can get a bite out of that AD carry. Nyph throwing the death sentence to make sure he gets the last hit.
Yeah, just to get the CS, every CS that he can. Tabzz and Nyph playing very, very defensively. No flash on Nyph, and you see how far back they are from the lane. Already 10 CS down. They do not want to run the risk. And it's actually very difficult with Tristana in that setup because of the fact that she's naturally going to push the wave. So that sort of plays into SK's favor if they can control the tempo of the lane. But obviously this is a massive wave building up, so Tabzz should be able to secure a bunch of those under his tower.
Well, Froggen went back, got himself the Double Doran's boots and an amp tome. Meanwhile, Double Doran's were picked up by Jesiz, of course, because he was caught out. First blood helping out for Froggen. Bottom wave, well, top wave, I guess you should say, duo wave, whichever they're in, is going to get cleared out. Big advantage for CandyPanda, of course, because Tabzz was forced away. He would gain some of that back as Candy steps back, and it's going to be a switch once again. They really want to put Wickd on the back foot down in this bottom lane. Yeah,
I also think Freddy just really doesn't want to be in this lane setup. Svenseren's come around, they're jumping on Wickd. No flash.
He's going to walk away. He's got Never Move available.
Freddy had no mana either.
Didn't bother going for it.
Yeah, Freddy was very, very low on mana. Actually did have enough for at least
I think they wanted
the route.
He didn't want to do a twisted advance because Wickd actually didn't have flash available.
Yeah, exactly.
Couldn't draw him into.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. It was playing it very safe. Anyways, it set them up. They've now got the support of the AD carry and support on the dragon, and this dragon is hitting very, very hard. Froggen does have Spirit Rush available. This could get risky if Froggen goes aggressive.
Yeah, they absolutely should go aggressive because Freddy and Svenskeren low. 5 members of SK moving in though. Shook caught out. Charm does land. They do manage to get the damage down, but Froggen has to run away as Shook got capitalized and taken down. It does leave this top lane open. They didn't get the dragon. They may lose the tower.
It looks like Alliance should be able to do that. Remember, Wickd did not respond to the play, so that was a 2v4 from Alliance, and Shook is the one that gives up his life. CandyPanda stealthed himself up. This is just going to put a lot of damage down. I think Wickd should sustain a whole bunch. It's Candy, the one that's in trouble.
Bird is the word, and look at that turnaround. CandyPanda thought he was being a sneaky little rat. Instead, Wickd, well, he's a big raven, and they peck on rats, I think you could say that.
They do indeed. Focus on their eyes first, I believe.
I haven't seen too many come down, though. I don't know. Maybe it's just a myth.
Well,
it's a tower, nonetheless.
Wickd manages to punish the low-level CandyPanda, forces him very, very low. Tower was secured by Alliance thanks to the fact that they actually lane swapped. But SK, again, I think that's now the 3rd time they've tried to look for this very, very specific matchup. And Wickd is already doing much better than the 2 previous games. He's got a CS advantage over Freddy. And thanks to all of the swapping, Freddy's the one that's being punished. He's not managed to grow any sort of lead like he has in the previous 2 games.
He hasn't branched out too much either. Wickd, of course, miles ahead in CS. He's going to go to the top lane. Can't teleport there, hasn't got it back available yet, but there's the blue buff for Jesiz. Just about there. Does manage to secure that one. Froggen in this mid lane. He's actually down on items right now because he hasn't been back to buy. SK getting a lot of vision around this tri-bush, and they want to set up. They want to get this dragon down.
Yeah, they really are trying to focus on it. And I'm going to compare, again, now the Kha'Zix jungles. Shook is the one that's now primarily farming. The lane swaps could be playing into it as well. It's quite difficult to go for any sort of invades. we'll finish that in a second. It looks like Dragon's been started. It's going to be finished.
Not looking.
No one from Alliance is even responding. SK's got good vision this time around. Good timing.
Too slow.
And yeah, nobody from Alliance there. So maybe either Alliance didn't want to go for it because it looks like they're pushing top. It looks like they're pushing bottom. But at least the objective game balances out as SK grab their first global gold.
So SK holds strong, or pink ward on CandyPanda. Oh, he didn't even check in the bush. Thought about stealthing his way in there, but they were already moving towards him. Read that one. Wickd, meanwhile, he's been shoving this top lane out. It's actually nRated that's heading his way up there. CandyPanda's going to move his way around, so they really want to keep a 2v1 on him.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this has to be to try buy time for Freddy. Freddy's so far behind where he wants to be. Level 6, Wickd's level 7. He does have Catalyst the Protector.
They're actually even
23 gold. Luckily, thanks to the tower kill, that's playing in his favor, and obviously the fact that he picked up a kill. So that's where it is coming from. The fact of the matter is, Freddy's running scared. Freddy's not being a lane bully. He's not moving, you know, he's not confident in his current setup, and every single time Wickd goes toe-to-toe with him, he moves away.
This is dangerous, that's for sure. Tower moved in. As you can see, never move, used out. Jesiz having to step away a little bit. Froggen didn't go too aggressive. In fact, never move had to locked him up. Meanwhile, bottom lane. Well, we talked about Freddy running scared. Ooh, charm landing on Jesiz. He's got Svenskeren, Shook moving, sorry. So used to seeing Svenskeren on Kazakh.
Yep.
Moving in above him. See whether he goes for it. Freddy already backing away. That means there's a ward coverage, and Shook read that one.
Yeah, but I mean, do you see the fear from Freddy? The moment that wave gets pushed up, he looks around the map, realizes people are missing, and he instantly starts backing off, instantly starts moving away. The damage of the early game has already been done to Freddy, and he's continuing to fall further behind. Tabzz is doing a good job along with Nyph of putting tower pressure down.
They continue to burn Freddy down. That tower is pretty low, and that could be the second one of the game for Alliance. There's a lot of pressure that SK have not, as of yet, in this best of 5 felt from Alliance. They are losing out in the lane phase. This switching that they are basically forcing themselves into to get Freddy off there. It's actually causing them problems. Svenskeren, he's going to try and sneak in towards his bush, have a look towards it, twisted advance onto Nyph. He read that one, throws out the death sentence but does not land it. Shook was close by. Ultimate was used by Nyph and the flash, but they didn't get a kill.
Yeah, all things considered, box, buster shot, and flash out of Nyph, that's a very, very good trade. Sven is doing some work on Evelyn in the early game, and we're still seeing Shook primarily farm. This is going to be the first time we're really seeing him try to get involved. Yes, he did get first blood along with Froggen. We'll see how this works out. 4 versus 3. Froggen was moving to the bottom lane, but has opted to move backwards. It's all going to be about the dark binding or Freddy holding someone down long enough.
Shook goes aggressive, takes the lantern, pulls Freddy all the way into the tower. He takes a lot of damage. Teleport is still available for Wickd. He's not going to join it though. Instead, he's free farming in that top lane, and another failed gank attempt for SK.
Yeah, not working out this time around. They still hold on to a gold lead. However minute it is still a lead nonetheless. And Froggen is roaming. He was attempting to roam earlier on. There are blue pings on Svenskeren, so they knew generally where he was, just not exactly. He was spotted out by the pink ward in the river.
Well, Freddy actually teleports into Wickd this time around. We'll see how that works out. It seems that he's going to have to back away after all. The bird is too
Sven
strong.
Still hasn't left bottom lane.
Sticking around there. Flash soul shackles. Nyph will get caught out. Dark binding goes down. The rat's on towards him. CandyPanda go get in towards him. Svenskeren finally gets the kill. It pays off, but by God, it took him a long time.
Yeah, it really, really does. Sven may be in a bit of a tough place. Shook is looking for blood.
He catches on towards him, gets the unseen threat. Shook has to back away from this now. He's going to have the presence of Froggen coming close, but CandyPanda locks on towards him, does not get him down. Jess is now focused on, he's getting taken down. He has to flash away. Froggen not going to follow through, and SK come out ahead again. Alliance, they're so close to picking up multiple kills, but SK, they're the ones coming out on top.
You still cannot deny the explosiveness that Froggen is bringing to the match, though. That's the second time you've seen a super aggressive play on Jesiz, and it's working out. That was very close to Tabzz behind. He manages to get away, and you know, just the ganks from early game Kazakhs are not particularly strong. We're not seeing either Svenskeren or Shook really go for the sort of early counter jungling, looking to harass their opponents out of the jungle. It's much more difficult against an Evelyn because, of course, it's so much more difficult to track her and find her. But once Shook gets some of that armor penetration that we're seeing on this updated build, then I think we'll see him poking around and trying to set Froggen up for some more kills.
So blue ball picked up by Jesiz. See how it works out. Teleport is now down for him, so we'll see whether Shook pays a visit. Wickd and Freddy going back at it, but again, this is actually a much closer fight. Remember, Blasting Wand was picked up by Freddy, so he's slightly ahead in his build because Wickd hasn't been back to buy. He's sitting on a stack of gold, just 1,600 gold right now. Pops his ultimate, clears out the wave again. Freddy is starting to win out and do well in this lane though, so the early advantage slipping away from Wickd.
We'll see how it goes. I mean, it is still 30 CS at the end of the day. And gold is still even between the two of them, thanks to the fact that SK again, they did get that dragon. Now they're jumping on Wickd.
They're going for him this time around. Flash is available. Never Move goes down. Will he be able to get into the bush and flash across? Yes, he is. And Wickd is away.
So successful gank once more from Sven. I also like the fact he sidestepped the Never Move. Managed to get out of range of it. Wasn't rooted in place, and that applied even more pressure to Wickd. But Wicked's doing a lot better this time around. Going to finish off that Rod of Ages very shortly. And there it is, instantly picked up. Got his teleport to go back to lane if he wants to. Alternatively, Dragon is respawned, so it may be an upcoming Dragon fight. He'll hold on to TP for the time being.
Wasted pink ward from CandyPanda, instantly cleared out. nRated will put himself a vision ward in there to get a little bit of presence. Dragon is now back up. SK, remember, managed to get on towards that last time around. Spirit Rush. Jesiz not charmed out this time, but you can see the burst damage potential. Froggen pulled in. Once more, Spirit Rush not used. So he didn't finish off Jesiz, but he does take down that outer turret. Yeah,
we did see the charm just go wide, though. Jesiz was able to sidestep that one. No Spirit Rush available for the upcoming team fight, but there's no Shockwave either. And Jesiz is going to take a long time to get there. They're going on Nyph instead.
Nyph in trouble, flashes into the pit. He's going to get away, no! Poison Tick takes him down. Now the rest of SK move in. Shook taken very low on hit points here. Freddy tries to focus on towards it. Wickd does manage to take down Svenskeren. That's another one. Dragon going down. Charm lands on CandyPanda. They quickly turn it back around. Wickd really wants to fight this one. Shook goes down in the pit, so it's a 2-for-1, but it's Alliance that come out with the Dragon.
Yeah, 100%. So advantage Alliance, obviously, but in terms of the fight, I actually think SK probably did the best thing they could have done. Alliance were a little bit split. So CandyPanda and Nyph, CandyPanda and nRated punish Nyph for being in the wrong place. But that Never Move, not only does it catch two members of SK Gaming, it prevents CandyPanda from working further forward. It zones his opponents away. And just in full retreat mode, because Froggen had obviously used everything to try kill Jesiz, he wasn't able to punish CandyPanda after landing the charm.
I think they could have got a little bit more from that one. Dark Binding does not. Does land. The Death Sentence does not because of nRated's Black Shield. So, what do we have building between these two top laners? They've been going at it toe for toe for a long time. Rod of Ages completed for both. We'll see where they go. I'm thinking Swain probably going to go towards the Abyssal Scepter maybe next with her Wicked.
Potentially the Spirit Visage if he wants to just block the MR.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, from the Evelyn. But we'll see Freddy and Wickd, they are going toe-to-toe. Wickd is going to be able to sustain as long as he has mana. That's the key thing to keep our eye on. And we will go back to that. It does look like there's a very big party joining at the bottom lane. Shook got those triple longswords, has yet to complete his Brutalizer, his Hex Drinker. And tower finally falls. It's been a long time coming, actually, because that was low for a while.
Well, considering it's, what, 600-700 gold between the two at the moment, that's 3 towers for Alliance. So there's a lot of money on the table for SK if they would start pushing these towers. But Alliance have now got the vision advantage. They're taking it away. Wickd and Freddy going at it once again, but next to no mana for Freddy this time around, but he's simply buying time. In comes Froggen. Can he land the charm? You bet your life he can. The damage is down and Froggen gets himself the kill.
Yeah, works out in favor of Alliance. Again, it's all about Froggen. This game is going to become the Froggen show. This game really is going to become the Froggen show. If SK can deal with Froggen, then they can, you know, get through the rest of the comp. But it's going to be up to CandyPanda and Sven to surprise Froggen, catch him off guard, and blow him up super quickly. Blade of the Ruin King is completed for CandyPanda. It allowed him to take down that tower in the bottom lane. But we need to see how he's going to roam and try to set up any potential picks.
SK slow to react on this one, Alliance. Moving in numbers towards the top. 4 members here as they push in towards the tower. Don't think they're going to get too much damage on it. They're already back in. They're expecting SK to react stronger, I think, than they already did. And as you mentioned, I think it could well be the Froggen show. Got himself that DFG, got himself another needlessly large rod built towards that death cap. It's going to be a big power potential. But CandyPanda himself also, 2 kills, 4 assists. Blazering can complete. Already got that Brutalizer on the way to the Youmu's Ghostblade. He will be a problem.
If he can be in the right position.
Yes.
That's the only key. And we've seen how difficult or how frustrating it is for CandyPanda in the fights, because the moment he does pop his head, head into the fight, Wickd is there, looking to put the laser bird, looking to put the never move down. So if CandyPanda gets caught by either the death sentence or by any of the Swain CC, he's instantly going to get focused down. Twitch is so easy to kill the moment you hold him in place.
So currently, just 400 gold separating these two teams, tied at 1 apiece in this best of 5 semi-finals. If, for some reason, you were not awake earlier on and you missed the Fnatic match, well, you missed a cracker. And mute your stream right now because I'm about to spoil it for you. It was Fnatic that took it 3-2. A cracking best of 5. And honestly, we talked with obviously Joe and DeFisio as we got up here. Probably the greatest best of 5 we've seen for a while at Gamescom.
Oh yes.
If not at all in talking about all regionals.
It's been a long time coming to have such an exciting best of 5, and there was a lot to talk about. There was very good plays, there was a lot of mistakes, there was, there's things both teams can walk away from and look at to say, we did this right, we did this wrong. But the most impressive thing was just how both teams dug really deep. And while the games have gone on, that was a sort of 80% vote in favor of Alliance. It's slowly dwindling. SK holding even. 20 minutes in, they're only 300 gold down. They're up in kills. SK is the team that loses laning phase. SK is the team that doesn't pull ahead, and while they haven't pulled ahead now, they're holding even with Europe's #1 seeded team.
Yeah, clear #1 as well. It was not too close. Fnatic, the only team that got remotely close to that one. But as we know, Europe, everybody beats everybody else. Even bottom of the table to the top of the table. Copenhagen Wolves took Alliance a good run for their money several times. So Alliance, now with the 3 towers down, Alta, are they going to be able to make any inroads into SK's base? Currently, Dragon is the focus. That's up in 25 seconds. Ooh, Alliance almost caught out of position.
Again, Shockwave is the very key. If Jesiz can get a multi-man Shockwave, that's how they're going to win these team fights. And CandyPanda needs to assassinate somebody. He needs to get past Wickd and get rid of probably Tabzz, if possible, because he's going to be the consistent damage threat. As it stands, SK grouped up. There's a teleport coming in. Let's see, where is Freddy going? He's just joining. He just wants to be with the team. The potential delay, and also the power of Vengeful Maelstrom when a fight breaks out is going to be so impactful as they start to group. So I like the fact he's joined, but he's been hooked.
He's going to get hooked in. He's going to go on towards Wickd though, but he is a bird. Is it the word? He's trying to flash away. He's going to get focused on. A lot of hit points still. Not quite able to take him down. Soul Shackles from nRated does not ping off, and Tabzz instead turns it around. Death sentence on Svenskeren. Shook pounces and strikes and gets himself the kill. SK 2-0 down. They have to back away, but they still have control of the Dragon.
There was no Shockwave from Jesiz. The number of low health members in Alliance, and no ultimate comes down. Now the teleport was used from Freddy early. A healed up Wickd is going to teleport into the team fight.
On the back?
He had home guard boots, but a well-timed sapling instantly mitigates that movement speed. Again, same story. CandyPanda needs to stealth up, and if Jesiz lands a good Shockwave, they can still win this fight despite being down in numbers.
Oh, never move lands. Jesiz gets caught out. He's going to be focused. Death sentence follows. He gets hooked in. Shook gets himself in towards there. Gets the reset. Jumps on CandyPanda. Freddy and Froggen going at it just around the side there. Froggen will win out that fight. And again, this time a 2 for 2. But the Dragon, I believe, went to Alliance.
Yeah, I think they secured that one too. And just very well played by Alliance. They punish SK for sticking around. They did go 2 for 2, of course, because of the fact everybody was low. And I think Jesiz did get the Shockwave animation off. We'll watch it in just a second. But Death Sentence connects onto Jesiz. In and amongst the Maelstrom. This is the first fight. So, Alliance on the back foot, they managed to peel away. The nicest thing about what Alliance did in this fight is they split up in a line. So because they made it nearly impossible for a multi-man shockwave, Jesiz held the trigger, and that allowed Alliance to win the fight. And that then set them up for the Dragon. So this is now where SK re-engage. Also, I really like the sapling toss from Freddy. It instantly mitigated Freddy's movement speed, and that was the shockwave. Early on, allowed them to get a couple of kills, but truthfully, SK always at a disadvantage. They needed a perfect shockwave to win the fight. It wasn't. They ate too many skill shots. Come away worse for wear.
So advantage now in Alliance's favor, and they have truthfully looked better in this game than they have in the last two. Blue buff's going to be taken. Shook will clean that one out. I'm not too sure whether they've gifted to Froggen yet. They feel safe enough to do that. So, talked about the inroads into towers. This is the time to make them. Dragon now off the table, but they need to get some waves going for them, which is why we see Froggen down the bottom. And actually, SK moving on force. 5 members pushing towards this one. Nyph got protected. The rest of Alliance are nearby. Never Move will go down. Wickd pops that ultimate to try and clear the wave out quickly. He will, and they hold the tower.
Yeah, pretty good wave clear on the side of Alliance. I think thanks to the fact that they've got that Never Move, they've got Ari, they've got the splash damage from Tristana. She's actually gone for a Phantom Dance as opposed to Static Shiv. So, slightly different itemization to what we're used to seeing. And I think it's going to work out because Tabzz, once he gets that very long range, he can just sit and poke and poke and poke, looking for those critical hits. Alliance grouped up, they're going to siege another tower, and SK are very slow to respond.
They're going to get on towards the tower. They should take it down here. And SK pretty slow to defend that one. They needed the wave to come in, but that turret is not far in this one. CandyPanda, he's on his way back. Svenskeren flanking around the side. Shockwave catches 3 members. Alliance in trouble. Freddy kicked away from this one. Wickd's going to get taken down. Jesiz gets the kill on him. Now Froggen focus. He has to flash away. Spirit Rush available. Shook goes in, gets the reset, leaps away, and he's gone scot-free. And suddenly it comes out of 2 for 2.
Yeah, 2 for 2 with both supports and top laners going down. Fantastic shockwave from Jesiz. Almost takes Tabzz out. But Nyph had a near perfect box. The walls were hit by multiple members of SK, and Svenskeren was unable to chase him down. Oh, that's a flash from Sven.
Oh, he's going deep on this one. I'm not too sure if he's going to get it. He's going to turn it around. No, Shook gets it.
Wow.
And gets the reset. Pounces away. Thank you very much. Free kill.
I think Sven voluntarily opted into the isolation damage by running past the minion wave and into the turret. Shook just burst him down. Brutalizer, Hex Drinker, gonna be enough. And you see, as soon as those items are picked up, Shook becomes a lot more relevant, much like the previous performances on Kha'Zix. Aggressive move from Tabzz there, but it did scare Jesiz away.
Yeah, went pouncing for it. Wickd this time. He's getting the blue buff. That's actually going to work out very well for him. Pretty mana hungry, Swain, if you don't get the right ultimate working in your favor on the minion wave. So he will eventually pick it up soon, someday. Somewhere.
Oh, he's stalling it. Maybe he's going to be giving it to Froggen. Let's see.
Yes, he is.
Yep.
Yeah, or is he giving it to Shook? No,
oh, wait, let's watch Blue Buff kick him in the head again.
Yeah,
oh, it punched him. Good guy, Wickd. Good guy, Wickd.
He's a big Danish fella. He can take
you know
a couple
what?
of kicks.
For all the criticism we did give him for game 1 and 2, this is a much better performance. He's landing the skill shots with his Never Move. He's in the right place at the right time. He's tanking appropriately. Despite the fact that he was so heavily focused in that previous Dragon engagement, he still got away with his life, teleported in, and still like re-tanked up on the front line. So this is a much, much stronger game from Alliance's top laner. And it feels like he's more practiced on Swain than he was on Maokai or Alistar.
But we can see the battle between Freddy and Wickd is actually pretty tight right now. And with CandyPanda trying to tip the scales, and Svenskeren making a move up the side, it's time for Wickd to make tracks, and he is rightfully backing away. But look at Alliance. They're reacting. They are shoving strong up this mid lane. We got Froggen off the side. Question is, will SK back off?
Oh, I don't really know. This is going to be another tower for Alliance at the very least. SK continuing the push. They do have a lot of attack speed with Twitch, but the problem is Tristana's got an Infinity Edge and a Phantom Dancer and Rapid Fire. So the trade is 2 towers for 2. But you're comparing, oh, the Shockwave, I think, is looking from Jesiz. He did use it, didn't connect too well, though.
So, 2 towers for
Oh,
one.
but look at the back. Here comes SK. SK are looking for a fight.
Oh, and they're going to find it because Wickd comes in. good capture of Svenskeren, but he's going to down quickly here. Nyph going to get focused down. It's going to be a jungler for a support so far. Wickd has to flash out of there. Takes a lot of poison damage. And actually, I think SK came out on top in that one.
If only the shockwave had been used in that fight, what a difference it could have been. CandyPanda was in a pretty good position, was laying down a lot of damage. They don't have the most amount of minions to work with. Freddy actually gets caught by the root. No Spirit Rush for Froggen, so he can't really look to just pop in and pop out with a kill. But I think smart-ish play. The teams end up trading 2 towers for 2. But that was a very, very good engage from Svenskeren. He got a massive shield from the Agony's Embrace. But unfortunately, he doesn't have the most armor. He's got a lot of hit points, but not enough armor, and just got melted there by Tabzz' Tristana. It does allow SK some positioning, and they take the second dragon. So dragons 2 apiece, and it's still only a 2,000 gold game.
Yeah, so objectives still being picked up, and these team fights are getting tighter. Both teams coming out really evenly, honestly. It's been 2 for 2 a couple of times. Towers are still in Alliance's favor, but only just. Those 2 inners in the mid and bottom could open up a lot for Alliance. Of course, a lot of vision required from both teams. Not a lot of wards all gathered around that mid lane area, so not a great deal covering out the jungle. So I think that will be the focus for the next minute or 2 for both of these teams.
It feels like Alliance is dictating the tempo of the game. Despite the fact the lead is very small, even on kills, there's 1 tower that separates them. It's Alliance that's making more positive moves, and when SK is somewhat out of position, Alliance have been able to punish them. SK got a bunch of kills early on and had the advantage in that regard. But as the game is progressing, as Tabzz is getting more and more damage, and as Shook is able to sort of look to assassinate people, Alliance are now finding the situations that they can win. I do think if Alliance keep this up, they can probably close the game out. The only thing that they have to avoid is the AoE team fights from Jesiz, from Shockwave. And if they peel properly, form the line, it'll work in their favor.
Wickd shoving hard, wanted to try and force something out of that mid lane. Blue buff was not there, which is why Froggen peeled away. No objectives are open for them. I think they want to try and make a pick. They'll try and pick something off. Froggen's continuing to just keep shoving that wave down the side. And bang on 30 minutes. We get ourselves a ball as well.
I'll call it 31.
Yeah, I think
just because I'm
going to call it 30-59.
Oh, well played indeed.
So, looks like it is CandyPanda with the pause. I'm not too sure actually. No, it's Alliance. I'm pretty sure.
We'll find out shortly.
Ref's not going too close to those.
So the thing about this game, actually the thing about this series, it has been slower. It has been more tactical, and I think it's been more about really punishing your opponent's decisions and mistakes rather than running away with the game. In the previous game, SK did have an advantage. They earned that. They played positively. But Alliance never really committed to fights. Alliance never really grouped, and SK punished them for that. Kept taking objectives, kept scaring them away. So how do these teams play this game? It's just safer. It's just slower.
I think Wickd found something under the desk, maybe nibbling away at his toes. It's just an audio issue, ladies and gentlemen. He's just sorting out his headset, so that's just being plugged in, not too sure. Bit of bouncing.
Yeah, that's the new headset as they're working through it. Look at the gold unspent. The 2 teams.
2K plus sat on to Tabzz.
And the big CS deficit that Freddy was struggling from has also been closed as the game has progressed. But every other lane, with the exception of the AD carry, is very even. A 70 CS lead for Tabzz is very, very big, but it doesn't equate to a whole lot. It's only 600 or 700 gold. Thanks to the dragons, thanks to the towers. Objectives have been very even between these 2 teams. It's kind of a weird game to talk about because SK have roamed, they had a lot of kills and picks, but it didn't really lead to map control. And Alliance have found the team fights, but they've kind of got the makings of a pick comp in their champions.
It's down to the point there where whoever loses out big in the next team fight, which potentially at this point maybe a Dragon or Baron, is going to take an inhibitor. Whether they'll take the game, respawn time is still fairly short at 31 minutes. I don't think it's going to be quite the game, but Absolutely. As I mentioned at the start, this is going to be a 50-minute game, and it's going to be a very tight 50-minute game. At that, 11-11 in kills, 2,000 goal differential. This could still go either way. It's a case of who can pick off, and I'm really interested to see how this Swain Maokai is going to swing.
Yep.
Because it was clearly Wickd that had the advantage. It was clearly SK that were desperate to get Freddy off on his own.
Yep. And
now that Freddy is kind of back, I guess you could say, and has been aggressive, the more aggressive actually than Wickd, I wonder if Wicked's going to fall away from this one, because I know we were privileged to a conversation between Wickd and Froggen talking about this exact matchup and talking about how it would scale. Wickd believed Swain would fall away, but Froggen was absolutely insistent, and Wicked's listened to his captain, he's practiced and tried, and of course now he's pulling out Swain. We saw Soaz doing the same earlier on, so clearly there's something in this pick that everybody sees that works wonders.
So you could argue the differences, but they both end up just being these like super beefy, sort of sustained tanks. Swain will be healing himself through his ultimate, whereas Maokai will be reducing the damage. In both ways, just extending the survivability in team fights. But the biggest key for me is how Wickd lands the never moves. It is an AoE route, whereas Maokai's only got a single target. And when you've got champions like Evelyn and Twitch, who need to be moving, who need to be positioning correctly, if they get locked down, they die. And on the topic of the AD carries, Tabzz on Tristana is so far ahead of CandyPanda, and he's going to outscale Twitch, thanks to the extended range and the safety. If Tabzz is not dealt with in team fights, he's going to be able to just clean house. And while you've got to worry about Swain healing and you've got to worry about Tabzz, you've also got to avoid Froggen, who's spirit rushing in and trying to charm you and kill you. So there's a lot of threats on the side of Alliance that the very immobile side of SK has to overcome. So if they're ever jumped on top of and they're not ready, all of those threats and all the mobility and whatnot on the side of Alliance plays very heavily into their favor.
And something, you know, that has been pretty big for the fact that while SK have got 11 kills, 6 of them are on Nyph.
Yep.
Still, untouched, Froggen and Tabzz yet to die. Tabzz, remember, went 10-0-8 in game 1. So could he get away with it again? At the moment, they are the guys that need to be focused, and if they're not getting near them, it may well be a problem for SK, because they are the big damage dealers. They are the big threats. Support's going down. Not the end of the world. It is a problem for all supports in the world, but it's not the end of the team fight, that's for sure.
Yeah, the advantage, of course, to Froggen and Tabzz going unkilled thus far is that when they do eventually get killed, they will give up bounty gold. So that can help SK close this gap. Help SK. Not that 2,000 at 30 minutes is really sizable. I mean, I'm overhamming that one just a little bit. In my opinion, SK have to catch Alliance a little bit off guard. SK have to just try jump on Shook or Froggen or Tabzz with the Twitch Orianna combo, kill them, and then allow Maokai and Evelyn to try run down the rest.
Well, Froggen is going to continue to keep this wave pushed in, while SK, they may try and take advantage. The fact that he's out of position, they're going to push in. Remember, there's an inhibitor that he's pushing towards, though, as opposed to that inner tower. This is not a good response from Alliance, though. They are now moving around. SK instead are going to choose to
they might try rush it
to the Baron. CandyPanda's going in. He's going to go for the attack speed. They are rushing it. While this is happening, the inhibitor is being pushed in by Froggen.
This is going to be one of those potential scenarios where they're going to trade an inhibitor for Baron. Actually, no. SK should be able to recall. There was no vision from Alliance in the pit at all. So the rest of Alliance may be realizing that they've made a mistake. Are just trying to push the waves up as quickly and as heavily as they can. Froggen's dealing a lot of damage to the inhib. If he sticks around, I think he might. I think he might. He's got damage. Oh, he needed to stick around a few more hits. I think it would have been worth it. One death to get super minions, and now your opponents have all got Baron. SK completely sneak it. At the beginning of the day, we talked about Barons, and we said that SK have not made the best Baron calls in the league. They've actually secured the 6th lowest number of Barons across their 28 games. But in this matchup, they made the right call. Very, very smart.
Well, we'll see how it works out. We'll see whether that Baron gets put to good use. It's all well and good getting the Baron if
they want Froggen.
Get objectives from it. It's going to be very hard to pin down. Flash and Spirit Rush available. They're not going to be able to catch him.
Yes, not with those kind of dog bindings. Definitely optimistic. Froggen able just to walk away. But yeah, well played to SK. They sneak the objective, completely catching Alliance with their pants around their ankles. They weren't able to get in range. They didn't even have the vision, so they probably realized too late and then just said, let's do the best that we can. With Baron up, and the fact that SK can look
nRated is going to get focused on. Not enough, though. The charm doesn't land. Froggen was waiting for that. That was the target he wanted. Spirit Rush was used. Nyph takes a fair burst of damage, more than nRated took, who was, of course, regenerating as well with that Baron buff. Froggen's running back to base.
We'll see how SK siege this one out. Both teams have got single target snares and roots and single target crowd controls, the word I'm looking for. And as long as SK don't get caught by never moves, I think they actually can siege fairly well. Use the Jesiz ball to zone appropriately, reduce the threat of members of Alliance. Don't eat death sentences, that would be a good start. With Freddy, he started to dive.
Oh, Lantern pulls him out of danger. They've got such good wave there. They've got Tabzz now, who's up to level 15. Phantom down, set Infinity Edge, play the Rune King. He'll just blow those minions to pieces. They really need to get something meaningful to try and pick someone off. Again, Shook, even with a massive chunk of damage as well, he can just void spike onto the minions. Let's see if they can get another couple of hits onto this tower. As of yet, they have not put a single dent in it.
So in the bottom lane, SK Gaming's wave is working for them. If that manages to get to the inner turret, they can peel away and take that tower. In the top lane, it is working against them. So Alliance will be able to potentially teleport up there if they win a team fight and send Frog in that direction. SK have got options. They're still 1,000 gold down, but they have Baron for a few more minutes, so they can continue the siege. Despite the death sentences connecting, it's onto Svenskeren and Freddy, which is not the targets you're looking for.
Oh, again, Wickd just pops that ultimate. Oh! Rat-a-tat-tat coming out of CandyPanda. No target found. Alliance get taken low-ish on hit points, but certainly not enough. They're going to rotate down towards the inner turret. They will take that objective. So they're going to get something for this Baron, but inhibitor turret versus an inner turret so far. Teleport from Wickd. He's going in. They're going to defend it.
It looks like they're going for a fight. Wickd's been rooted in place, and he's going to die.
Well, that was good.
That was a great teleport. Just focus down. No, but again, nobody else from Alliance engaged, right? Wickd jumped in there. He wanted to defend the tower, but nobody else from Alliance moved in. Despite the fact Froggen was caught by the Dark Binding, nobody else engaged.
Top turret's taking a hell of a beating from minions right now, the inner turret. So far, this could well be an inner for an inner.
But there's 30-second death timer on Wickd. So if SK continue the push...
Flash!
Oh, he flashed the back.
Tabzz flashes out of it. Freddy, though, going to push in. They've got a minion wave in there. Nyph goes in, gets the flay down. Is he going to get dropped? Yes, he will. SK move in. Inhibitor turret goes down. Now they're going to get something from this. Inhibitor will fall. And Alliance finally pay the price.
That was a very, very good play. Jesiz finally lands the shockwave, forces the flash by trying to land the shockwave. And it was all set up by Freddy. Freddy rooted the targets down, SK simply focused whoever they wanted to, and Freddy's tanky enough to be relevant. We talked about the differences between the Swain and the Maokai. Well, Maokai proved himself superior in the last couple of minutes, but on the same token, Wickd was sort of left out to dry. He teleported into that tower, instantly got rooted in place, and Alliance were like, sorry buddy, we can't really do a whole lot for you.
Yeah, it's not worked out too well for them. So, 3 out of 5, Dragons 1 out of 1, Baron. Big minion and wave in the top's going to get cleared out. Freddy, no problem with that one. Blue buff is available for Jesiz as well. The first time he's had that in a while. So SK back on top. This game swinging back and forward throughout this matchup. Pendulum effect. And again, it's going to be down to another big team fight and possibly a Baron play in 2 minutes' time.
Yeah, I really want to just comment on how Jesiz was moving through the jungle. He was going for the blue buff and using that command attack just to scout. Using it for vision, only moving forward once he had the vision. That's actually very smart play and worked in their favor. It's exactly what Millennium did not do a couple days ago, and got punished for being out of position when they lost control of their jungle. So SK, Baron worn off a minute and a half before the next one's up. They've got super minions in the bottom lane. Do they want to use super minions to siege, or do they want to get Baron and then siege? They only were confident enough to siege once they had Baron buff.
So let's see how it works out. Svenskeren pushing forward, the whole of Alliance. Gonna get found out here. Shook can just leap away. Pretty safe play from him there. Svenskeren simply just got some basic attacks.
Yeah, it's been a lot more tanky since the last time those two met. Shook had so much damage and was looking to pop people off.
Wicked's going to show himself down the bottom. No teleport available. He's going to clear out this wave though, and that's going to push it back in Alliance's favor, and that Baron's not up for another 40 seconds, so he's got time to get back up here before it spawns.
Yeah, I think they'll be aware of that fact.
Tell a lie, he's got super minions against him, so he's not going to push it in his own favor.
That's the problem. Like, but that's why you need to have somebody dealing with them. Interesting to... Oh, left the gold for Tabzz. You have to keep that wave pushed out. So, ideally, Alliance want to stall until Wickd's got his teleport. Then leave Wickd to continue to push out the super minions, keep them out of your base. And then if or when that Baron engage starts, you can then immediately just teleport straight back up. But because it's so close, they can't do that yet.
Well, blue buff was stolen away from Froggen, who only has 12.5 cooldown reduction, so he really needs that blue buff to get that charm off. Alliance tentatively stepping in there. Death Bush set up. Wickd caught in the dark binding. Lantern is out there. Will he be able to take it? Yes, he will. Charm from Froggen only on towards Freddy. Svenskeren taking very low off the side there, but Wickd was picked off. Jungler for top lane so far. Nyph does land the death sentence on nRated, but they don't follow through. Spirit Rush used by Froggen to get out of there. Super minions now on the Nexus. Alliance need to get back and defend this one. There's also a gigantic minion wave coming in the top lane. Everything thrown in. Shockwave whiffed. And SK will step away. Look at Tabzz though. He fancies it. Couple of basic shots. They are hurting Freddy.
Yeah, but the thing is, the longer SK can keep Alliance here, the more objective the super minions can take. Somebody from Alliance has to go back and deal with it. Are SK going to decide to rush this Baron down? There is a teleport on Freddy if he needs to jump into the fight. The key for SK was not being in position where Tabzz could auto-attack. Not being in a place where Tabzz could take him down. Shook may try attempt to steal, but this is going to be so hard.
Baron number 2 coming up for SK unless Shook can pull off some miracle. Jesiz running interference, gets on towards him. Good damage actually from Shook. Again, stealths up. Oh, he's going to try and go for it. No, can't get close enough. This is going to be Baron. Nyph comes in, tries to throw out the lantern, tries to pull him in there. Not going to get the miracle smite that he needs. Instead, he's going to get the damage down. Will he get on nRated? Will he get the reset? No, he will not. Jesiz turns it around. Freddy low though. He's going to get dropped out here. Can Alliance pick up some kills? It's a 1-for-1 trade. Jesiz hooked in. He goes down into double. Coming in for Tabzz. Gets another. Gets on the triple. Now they can push. They've got the bottom lane exposed. They may be able to run straight for it.
There is a minute on the death time as Alliance have got so much damage in Tabzz. The moment he is allowed to right-click targets, people die. The reason that Alliance lost the previous team fight before the Baron was because he was zoned away. Alliance were in full retreat. Once Tabzz plants himself down, he melted through every single member of SK Gaming. And it was obviously off the back of that team fight. They're going for the inhibitor as well.
They may just try and finish the game here. 30 seconds still going. They're going to push in. Inhibitor goes down. Minion wave still with them. Can Alliance just follow on through? One Nexus through will be something they can pick up. Maybe able to get 2 out of it as well. Or entirely the game. But no, Svenskeren comes in, throws down his ultimate. Nexus turret number 1 falls. Svenskeren running interference. They do not care. They continues pounding away. Nexus turret number 2 goes down. Nyph flashes forward. They're going for the Nexus. Tabzz has got the damage. Alliance will take it. Game number 2 under the belt. Wow! Close stuff between these two teams. This honestly is teetering on the edge and anyone could have taken that match. It turns out the Baron was not the right play and Alliance come out victorious.
We called out SK at the beginning of the game, at the beginning of the day, talking about Barons, talking about how they're not particularly strong, they make those mistakes. The first Baron was so good, was so sneaky. Second Baron literally cost the match. They secured it, got killed in the pit, and Tabzz just romped through SK Gaming's base. Whoever makes the bigger mistake is losing these games.
This is a very, very tight best of 5.
Yep.
Once again. And I'm so glad they're best of 5s, that's for sure, because this could have been it. It could have been all over, but no, we have potentially 2 more games to go. Alliance, pressure off a little bit now. They are in the lead.
Yeah.
Not for the first time, but more importantly, in the lane phase for Alliance, this is the first time they actually were coming out ahead, were looking good. They pulled out a Gambit though, they pulled out the Swain, it worked out. SK desperately tried to rotate around from it so many times, put themselves behind in that lane phase.
Yep.
So pick and bans coming in again. So big.
Ari continues to be undefeated. Froggen continues to show his mastery over the champion. That was first pick, worked out very well. The Swain, much stronger for Wickd. My question is, how does SK avoid these strategic decision-making problems? They lost game 1 because of it, they lost game 3 because of it. This could have been a 3-0. This could have been a 3-0. If they didn't make those mistakes. the series would be done.
El Clasico could have been on in the final.
Exactly. So for SK Gaming, they've got the individual ability, they've got the mechanical ability. Despite whatever you may feel about Froggen versus Jesiz, Jesiz is held even. He went down, he was ganked. He still stayed even in CS with Ari in their previous game. SK are delivering individually. It's their macro team-based decisions that are costing them games.
Possibly proving, though, while he did do well,
yep,
Orianna was not worth a ban in the first 2 games.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. The shockwaves were, I also think, few and far between. I kind of feel like SK are very
holding
hesitant.
on to them a lot.
Yeah, like in game 1, nRated on Brown was a little bit hesitant. The shockwaves in this game, I think we've seen maybe 4 of them over the course of a 40-minute game. And a couple completely whiffed, a couple were flashed
So
out.
does this feedback, I wonder, for Jesiz? Remember, way back, Spring Split, obviously turned his game around. He was talking about how he suddenly felt, actually, if I do make the plays and they don't work out, it's not the end of the world sometimes. It is sometimes, but not all the time. And obviously that gave him a little bit of freedom. Maybe that's coming back. Maybe questioning his doubts in his head. We'll see, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go over to the analyst desk to take us through that Alliance win.
Thank you very much, D-Man. Wow, that was incredibly close. It could have gone either way. Thinking of what we saw to pick some bans, Wickd picking up Swain in this one after we saw a couple of Swains already. What did you make of the pick in this one?
I actually really like the Swain versus Mayokai, but they really needed to force it into the 1v1. So unless they can get that decent 1v1 where he can bully and have that bully matchup, he really doesn't have that much of an impact in lane phase. But when they started getting that going, Wickd survived many ganks by flashing walls and surviving long enough. And yeah, I think it was a really good pickup by him.
And also had some very good snares actually in the team fights. The build, however, I'm not even sure. He was going for Randuins, then he went into Spirit Visage, then he wanted to build the Hourglass, and then he didn't want to build the Hourglass, he wanted to get a Void Staff instead, or whatever it was in the end, and actually ended up not really completing anything. Yet in these team fights, Swain is very strong because you can tank up a lot of damage, you have the snare, you have to slow, and therefore he was very, very annoying and very hard for SK to deal with in these fights here, and therefore the pick, of course, worked out. Did cost them their first blood because they had to swap, make sure they got the standard lanes, and in the end, Svenskeren actually got the kill on Nyph, I believe it was, up in the top lane.
So actually we saw SK doing pretty well again in the early game, but then Ward Police, what's the verdict?
SK started warding again up until 20 minutes, and then boom, no wards for the rest of the game. So they've started doing what they need to do. Hopefully they can start buying wards mid-game, and then we'll see a lot smoother games.
Yeah, let's just bring up the replay, where we really do highlight also SK Gaming's issue here with the wards. So, there's a reason we're showing the items right now. On SK Gaming's side, Dragon has just spawned. They've all been back to base. We have 4 health potions, no wards. You only have the Sightstone ward at the moment from the Morgana, from the support. There's no pink wards at all. Alliance, on the other hand, if you look at their side, has already placed 2 pink wards. They've already placed some of the wards they had, and they have even more wards at the moment. It simply means, let's just roll the clip here. Freddy actually gets an okay engage onto Wickd here, which is very nice setup for him. Jesiz right introduces Shockwave just to finish off Wickd and get this 1 kill. But now it means SK Gaming can no longer chase Alliance because they have no wards in this area. They have no idea what they're running into. They cannot face check Froggen, and therefore as soon as nRated dies, the rest of the team kind of backs away, and it opens up for Nyph to land the hook because they know we have no way of chasing into these bushes here. We have no wards, and Alliance has everything covered. They can see everyone from SK Gaming. They get the kills. Also in the end, pick up the Dragon, and it's basically just SK Gaming making the game insanely hard for themselves. Crepo in the backstage. In the backstage, Crepo said himself, why does this game have to be so hard? You have the option to go back and buy a lot of wards, take the lead you already have, place them on the damn map, get a lot of control, and then you can pick the right fights. But instead, SK Gaming, they keep doing the same deal. They never want to buy these wards late game, and it just makes it so hard for them to actually play in the late game.
I'd like to point out with SK's composition, they need to fight this Dragon. Their composition is so perfect for this. But against Alliance's superior ward control, they're forced to do this panic engage where Freddy gets caught out first. And they need to completely avoid that. If they just ward up first, things will be so much easier for them.
Is it safe to say that Alliance is underperforming by a little bit, or by a lot? Yeah, and make you let that call. And that, SK is just simply outplaying themselves?
Well, the thing is, we don't know if it's SK Gaming performing really well here, or if it actually is Alliance underperforming. If we look back just to the season or the split we have seen here, Alliance has been very, very dominant in every single game, in every aspect of the game as well. And today, they just seems to have a lot of issues in the early game. even the mid game is not as smooth as we normally see, and they have to drag it to a late game before they can get this crucial last team fight to win the game. 2 games now they've won, where they've actually been behind. SK Gaming was pushing in the base, and then we have this one team fight from Fnatic, or from Alliance. It's been a very long day. From Alliance, they win it, they take the base, and end up winning the game. And it's crazy to see SK Gaming being ahead in all these games and being so close, and yet so far.
All right, then I want to revisit the predictions after what you said here, but it's just gotten harder.
I called 3-1 Alliance from the start, and I'm going to stick with that.
I'm going to give the next game to SK Gaming. Last game? Well, I'll give it to SK Gaming as well.
All right, well, go to full 5 games. That's what we want. If you thought this series was going to be a clean sweep, these teams had other ideas. We're on to game 4 when we come back, so don't go anywhere. Where's my LeBlanc toss?
Kicked away from this one. Wickd's going to get taken down. Jesiz gets the kill on him. Now Froggen focused. He has to flash away. Spirit Rush available. Shook goes in, gets the reset, leaps away. Lanson is out there. Will he be able to take it? Yes, he will. Charm from Froggen, only on towards Freddy. Svenskeren taking very low off the side there, but Wickd was picked off. Freddy low though. He's going to get dropped down here. Can Alliance pick up some kills? It's a 1-for-1 trade. Jesiz hooked in. He goes down into double. Coming in for Tabzz. Gets another. Gets on the triple.